Hello, true art believers, and welcome to today's live art stream. Going to keep it short, going to keep it classy. This is Pierson here. I am the #1 live art streamer in the world, and we're going to be doing some gesture drawings. We're going to start out with 30-second drawings, 1-minute drawings, and then 2 5-minute drawings, or is it 2 or 3? And then 1 10-minute drawing. Lately, every 10-minute drawing I've been doing has been a wash. They haven't been that good. But anyways, without further ado, let's begin today's live stream, shall we? Alrighty then, let's do a few things here. Let's get the screen. There we go. Just want to make sure I got all my ducks in a row before I begin. I want to make sure that my camera for my time lapse is ready so I can see. Anyways, let's begin. It's going to be 30 minutes, real quick. We're going to rush through these. Start. All right, the first one is going to, ooh, that brush is too big. All right, so we're just going to go, and we're going to move like this. We're just going to start out really loosey-goosey. Like it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be very loose, you know, just kind of moving around, moving the brush around the surface, just really getting kind of used to moving the pencil and getting a sense of scale, right? Just want to make sure that everything's in order. It doesn't really have to look like anything. Hopefully, by the end of it all, it looks like something. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that did it. Wrong layer. So we're going to have to do this. There we go. Wrong layer. And there you go. And here we go. Again, just moving around. I only have like 12 seconds on this one. 12 seconds. It's kind of moving around. Almost sloppy. Almost like a very sloppy, like, forms here. We're just kind of being very sloppy with how I'm moving my forms. And eventually it'll get a little bit cleaner as I get some practice in or get my warm-up in, right? So here we go. Just kind of getting warmed up here, getting a sense of the scale. Still having trouble fitting the figure in the frame, but that's fine as long as I am getting some motion here. All right. Okay, so here we go. Some more. Just keep moving, and that's the key thing for this is to keep moving and to be broad with your forms, almost exaggerate the structures and so forth. And that's all I'm trying to do is just kind of exaggerate these forms and be very almost sloppy in a sense for a while, you know, because only 30 seconds and you just want to practice moving your pencil on the surface, you know. And what I'm trying to be mindful of right now is I have this tendency of like making um, these very squiggly lines, and I'm trying to get out of that tendency. And the reason why I'm doing the squiggly lines is because I want to maintain some sort of energy. I want to show the gesture of the figure, and I find that if I do that kind of squiggly like action, I have a little bit more success with the the form here, even though the figure itself, it doesn't even come off as a figure. It comes off as like this scratchy like form here. And I'm hoping that eventually I'll be able to tighten these up in the future with more and more practice, right? So 30 seconds on number 7. All right, kind of just moving these, making wide gestural forms here, not worrying about whether or not the figure is correct. You want to kind of just focus on like these general lines here and hope that you get the angle, but you know, it's a 30-second drawing, so what are you going to do? You know, it's not barely enough time to really get anything in there. So your goal is to be almost as gestural and as angular as you can, and then hope that the angular forms will kind of lend to the figure. Still struggling getting the figure inside the frame, but that's fine. As long as I keep being mindful of that, I'm not too upset. So I think this is the 9th one, right? So we get this. So what I'm doing is, since I'm mainly drawing the female figure, is I'm exaggerating those angles because I feel that it's helping me with form. So I'm exaggerating these lines and so forth, and kind of being very gestural with how I'm drawing them. This is the last one for a 30-second drawing, like this. Just being very gestural with how I'm working the form here, not worrying about anything, just being very fluid. Almost, I actually have to kind of talk about it, to be honest with you. If I don't remind myself that I got to be loose, then I'm not going to be loose, So this is a minute. So I have a little bit more time here. So maybe I have a little bit more time to kind of do a few things here. But I'm still going to try to maintain that looseness that I had prior to this. So I'm still doing some something a little bit different. I'm adding a little bit more structural lines, but I'm trying to kind of be very angular with how I'm moving the structure, moving the figure, or moving the lines here, and still trying not to mind the errors that I have here. I'm making a lot of errors with the figure, but that's fine. You want to be quick, and you want to still maintain some speed in these drawings here. So I need to get the arms. How can I gesture them? And there we go. Not a lot of time for that. All right. So again, got to be very, just keep moving. I can't stress that enough. It's almost like redundant, right? I'm saying just move your pencil as much as you can to add more information. You can always correct it. I think when we're first starting out as artists, we always we have this this idea, this notion of, oh, every mark I make has got to be the best mark ever. Like, it's got to be the mark that defines that. I don't know where her other arm is, but it's there. The mark that defines the entire figure, So, you just gotta keep moving. So these are 5 1-minute drawings. I think I've talked about this in the past. I'm really sucky at laying down or horizontal figures. I just can't seem to get them in the space. I've gotten better, but it's taken me a while. And you'll find me often shrinking the figure over and over again just to fit the figure in space. So her arm is extending off the paper here, but I don't have that kind of luxury to kind of adjust the form here. So I think I'm just going to have it come off the paper, the picture plane, and just be done with it. Just focus on getting the areas that I have in the structure there, or in the there in the on the canvas surface there, because it's just a little bit easier, I noticed myself slowing down. I can't risk that, so I got to kind of speed it up again. So I got to remind myself to speed it up, maintain these quick gestural forms, and I know it sounds redundant to do that, to kind of say, oh, you got to go faster. You got to go faster, because this is a 1-minute drawing. This is still not a lot of time to really work on anything. This is enough time to kind of, if you're good, and I'm not good enough yet, to at least establish a figurative form, or at least establish some of the figure here. All right. Let's see here. Oh, wow. This person's hanging upside down. Okay, we got to keep moving. These are challenging because I don't know how to begin them. So my thing is, the thing about that is you just keep working at them. You know, you just draw what you see and then you get better at it. You know, eventually you'll be able to draw these better and better. But like, I'm not going to lie, they're difficult. You're drawing a figure who's basically hanging upside down, you know, looks like she's hanging upside down, like she's floating with um, on wires. Put a head here. And this is a 5-minute one. This one might be okay. Let's go. We're going to slow down just a little bit. We're not going to slow down. We're going to use a smaller brush here. We're going to use a smaller brush. We're going to use a smaller brush. That way the lines are not as apparent. We're going to keep moving. Right? We're going to use so notice I made a zigzag form. So like that's the spine curving and then the hips going the opposite way. I'm purposely exaggerating because I need to exaggerate to really get this, to really express this form. Otherwise, if I don't exaggerate the form, what tends to happen is it loses it loses that stance. It doesn't feel like the image that I'm drawing. Okay, I'm getting a little bit too micro, so we need to tone it down here, and we need to kind of keep moving the pencil like that, and do something like this, and maybe shrink the figure just a little bit, and then okay, so the torso's doing this, her arm's kind of doing something like this. We'll see what I can get done in the next 3 minutes 24 seconds. I want to keep moving the pencil. I got to keep reminding myself. I'm not lying. If I don't remind myself to move the pencil, I'm not going to move. I think it's like a psychological thing. It's weird. It's a weird thing that's occurring right now that it's a weird thing that I don't know if you should be, I don't know if it's necessary, but it feels like that's something you should be doing, is reminding yourself to keep the pencil moving, regardless of or not if the figure is turning out the way that you want it. So I think it's helping me out a little bit. How much it's helping me out, I don't know. I still feel like I'm not doing a good job. So we're gonna kind of get something going here. I made her thicker up here than she really is. And her arm's like bulky. I'm getting very scratchy. I know that. I realize that, but that I just need to kind of get it out of the way. I need to really express that energy that I'm feeling. Now, what I feel happening is my what's happening now is, so this area is like all hair. that. Okay. It started out pretty good, and then I got so scratchy with it because I'm like trying to keep moving. What I need what I would need to have done had would be to dial down the opacity and then to go over the lines again and clean up everything and clean up all those forms that I had. So we're gonna go even smaller. So here we go. We're gonna try something a little bit different. Look at we're gonna do even lighter lines to really get the form here. So this is a different way. I haven't tried this before, so I'm going to be using lighter lines. Shrinking down the figure again, because as I said before, I really struggle keeping the figure inside the frame. Shrinking it again. As I said, really do struggle with this. It's a big problem of mine, and I've been trying, gotten better, but it's taken a while. It's taken me some time. All right, so I just got to keep moving the pencil here. Not really worry about form or shading at the moment. I still have 2 minutes. Still have 2 minutes, so I have a lot of time. I like to say I have a lot of time, but not a lot of time. You know, I have a good amount of time to work from, but you know, the more I talk about it, the less time I have. I keep shrinking it down because now I need to get those legs in. Man, getting a figure in a 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That's a big ask, especially if you're not drawing like a made up figure. I don't know. It's just a big ask for me. I think it might be a big ask for a lot of people, but it's getting there. So now I've widened the pencil. We're gonna widen up a little bit more. 44 seconds. Not bad. Still a little light, but I think I've learned a little bit from that experience. This one's 10 minutes. Oh boy, it's going to be 5:40. That's going to cut it close for me. Real close. Really, really close. So now I'm slowing down dramatically and working on more of a different approach. I'm not doing that gesturally scratchy stuff. I think I've got enough proper warm up. I say that right now, but that could change. I could say, "Oh, I'm properly warmed up," and all of a sudden I start working on this, and all of a sudden, like, "No, I'm not as warmed up as I thought I was," and all of a sudden it just like goes downhill. So, what's nice about this one particularly is the figure is in like it's got a strong angles, almost a little, probably a little bit too strong to be honest with you. And it's got massive cat like core shadows, like massive contrast, and that helps um, when working with the figure. It allows you to separate parts of the figure, and it makes things a little bit easier um, while drawing. It can work against you too. Like there's like what could happen is when you're doing a drawing like this, because it's so the contrast is so like what would you call it? So strong. Um you can't see like areas here. Like this whole bottom area is all like negative space. As a matter of fact, I might just kind of look at it as negative space and not really focus on anything in particular. So I'm just going to look at it as a negative space shape and try to kind of represent that accordingly to the best I can. Just kind of got like a. I don't think I have that calf right. So I'm just exaggerating it. Again, as I said, I'm very scratchy right now. I'm very scratchy. I need a tighten. What's happening is I got like a death grip on my pencil, and that is it affects your drawing. So you got to be very mindful of your the like what would you call it, like how hard you're holding your pencil, you know. You got to be mindful of that when you're working on these types of drawings. And I get more. I mean, when I do live streams, I actually am more. I'm more rigid. Like I can really feel like I'm tightening my grip, like red knuckling it or white knuckling it on my hand. I can really feel that occurring because of just doing these lives can add a level of like nervousness, you know, that you don't always get in other when you're drawing like regularly. I don't think I made her torso long enough, but I do got the right angles. I kind of made her stockier, and that's fine. It's just so long as I'm noticing that I'm doing certain things in the drawing that I normally wouldn't do, or I normally would spend a little extra time correcting, you know. So I'm noticing that I'm being extra rigid with the. I noticed I'm being really rigid with my forms here, and so it's just what it is. I'm gonna have to. I'll fix that. I can correct that later on. Not correct it, but like if I were to work on this solo, I would be able to loosen up a bit. But right now, I'm just super like tight. The I got a very tight grip on my stylus, and I can't get out of that at this moment because of this like drawing live has like this innate sense of stress for me, and so because it gives me a little bit of anxiety, not it just kind of causes me to be it less like what would you call it, loose. um I don't know a name for it, but like all I know is it's I usually make more mistakes live, and I typically am tighter on the reins with my drawing. I don't like this brush for like shadowing because it treats it like a watercolor or like a marker where every time you put a dot, right, it adds it, makes it a little bit darker, right? So we're gonna make this. It's almost like a coarse shadow. So we're just gonna make this really dark, this area, and her back is really dark too. Her arm right here is really dark, like that. So we have 2 minutes 50 seconds. Not a lot of time, but just enough time to kind of maybe add some more lines here. Maybe kind of oopsie daisy. Then there's this area right here that's kind of. All right. So this is pretty good. This is not a bad drawing. Not a bad drawing for how much time I have. Five, 1 minute 54 seconds. Get out of there. All right. I'm having like windows popping up in my face. And then the neck here. Let's do it just like a quick, like, like gestural, like suggestion of the profile. Not a lot of time to really express it, but just to kind of show that it's there. And then the something to kind of express the jawline and the ear, and right here. right here now. Let's make the hair. Let's add some dark lines for the hair. Because it's all like dark. Like that. This one turned out pretty good. Not a bad 10-minute drawing. I could spend more time on this. I love really practicing stuff like this, but you know, I must get going. Pretty good. Pretty good 10-minute drawing. I think this is better than last time. So what we're gonna do is P21 day. It should be day 290. 290. Good job. Yeah, I really like that one. I see improvement. It just doesn't happen like gradually. It kind of happens like I improve one day and the next day I'm like, and then I go back like a couple frames. Then I improve again and so forth. And I go back a couple days like I lost certain skills. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this live art stream. This is Pierson here. I only turned his timer off here. Right. This is Pierson. I hope you enjoyed today's live art stream. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and or Twitch channel, whatever platform you're watching. And I want to say thank you so much for watching. I am the #1 live art streamer in the world and the most prolific. I hope you have a wonderful day. Cheers. Let me find this little outro here. Bam.